All right, it's time to get another game here on my 4 Dawn account. See if we can get that up to 5 Dawn. I believe it only really needs 2 more games before we are there. I'm excited to finally get my first sort of fundamental account all the way up to 5 Dawn. And maybe we'll end up changing some things around when we get there, because as you get stronger, even though the fundamentals still do work, you need a bit more detailed knowledge of situations in order to not fall behind or get taken advantage of, you could say. And on that topic, I've actually just added today the advanced study group to my Patreon, which you can find a link to my Patreon down in the description of the video. Currently, I'm doing a normal study group where it's really about sort of encouraging anyone to join and to play games with each other and doing more casual lectures and content. But I've been really, really enjoying that. So I wanted something that would be a little bit more advanced, going into a lot of detail about what is actually the best shape or the best way to handle a situation is something that I don't always like to do for everybody, because I think when you get bogged down in the details, sometimes that can distract you from the bigger picture. But once you get to a certain rank, or the more serious you are, you kind of do want to know those details. And that's sort of what the advanced study group is trying to do. The normal study group meets 4 times a month, and the advanced study group is going to be the 5th meeting of every month. So it's just adding one more day to the advanced study group. If you're in the advanced study group, you're also able to join the regular one, which is really nice. Right now, the goal is just to have people come in, maybe bring in some variations that they're curious about. Maybe have a topic that we discuss and go into as much detail as I can. And even if I don't know the answer, we can try to figure out the answer. That's sort of the goal. It's not just a study group for you. I will also be studying to some degree for this group. But anyway, if you guys are interested in that, again, in the description of the video, there is a link to the Patreon, which you can go and check that out. This month will be the first month, and it'll likely be at the end of this month for the very first meeting. Anyway, let's get into a game and see how it goes. Hopefully it's as good as it was last time.
Start to play.
All right, I am white. Let's see if they want to play me. Maybe I'll do a 4-4 this time. And a 3-4. Sort of a little bit different than what my opponent is doing. We'll keep it a little bit simple, and then I'm just going to back off. I'm not going to try to approach or do anything special, even though I want to. I'm not going to. They have an extension from their 4-4, so I want to get rid of the enclosure. Pincering right away. Keeping it as simple as possible, we'll just take the corner. We just have to maintain our connection. Very good. And I'm going to go for the newer AI variation, where we extend down to protect our push and cut, because this gives us enough liberty to not have to worry about it. And then we can bump and hane. No matter what they do, we can tanuki, which usually means that black is actually supposed to tanuki now instead of playing this double hane, which is kind of interesting, actually. But our group is alive. We don't care too much about this capture, so it's up to us to now go and approach again, or enclose our corner. But I think I want to approach and see what they do. Ooh, actually, because they do have some influence, we could also extend. But yeah, let's approach. I like approaching more. I can't help myself. Attach on top. That should be good for building the center. So we'll just do a normal hane. Whenever your opponent attaches, you should hane. Extending is the standard type of move, but attaching would also be good. I kind of like this diagonal. Maybe it doesn't really matter. Let's do the diagonal. I think it looks fun. This is not quite the right shape. We can definitely Atari this to give them an ugly shape. And then we fix with the double tiger's mouth. They're capturing here, which is not really the right idea. The corner is going to be alive, but we have to do it in the correct way. We Atari once here. They should capture, and then we turn. We don't jump there. If you jump there, you can die. But after you've turned, you are alive, and you can play away. So we can go back to the corner here and really make our corner a lot bigger. Yes, this was probably the important idea for them, turning over the center. Yep. Extend at least one time. But we don't really have to keep extending. It's only if we really want to. Honestly, I kind of want to slide underneath. Seems really big. They didn't block, so we're going to slide under. This is not threatening our group at all, so we can actually cut them and fight here. Their group here is technically not alive. So a fight in the center where that's where they're making most of their territory, or where they're trying to make most of their territory, is going to make the game a little bit awkward for our opponent. So let's do that. They extend. We can push from behind. I would rather extend out to threaten to surround this middle group. I want to strengthen my group as much as I can. So I'm going to peep at their shape, threatening to push down to capture the stones. I could extend again if I want to. This would threaten push and cut, which looks like it could work, but it's a lot of stuff to think about. So I'm not going to worry about that for now. And again, my goal is sort of to make a mess of this center. So just jumping here should be fine. Or also threatening to surround. I kind of like this idea of trying to surround a little bit. I'm doing diagonal because I don't want to leave cutting points in my shape. If they block, I probably have to answer if I want to keep my stone. So I'm going to push one time. Often you should push on the second line until it's not Sente. So that's sort of what I'm doing here. They're doing this tiger's mouth, which was not necessary yet. This does give me a chance for me to fix my corner. So I think I might do that because they could have approached there. And then we'll be able to see how to handle group in the center of the board, hopefully. Okay. Seems like a good idea for them. I think I can just jump out first to move towards the open area of the board. Okay, they're trying to attack. The next sort of shape I want to make is trying to turn this into more of a box. So jumping towards this side in general would make the most sense. We can also try to keep surrounding this group, but I don't want to do that yet. I think I would rather do that after I've defended my group to some extent. I could also extend here, but that lets them jump very fast. I don't really want them to jump. I think this knight's move is kind of interesting. I'm going to try this one. It just looks like fun. Yep, they attach to me, so I'm going to Hane. They're cross-cutting. We're just going to pull back to save our stones, threatening to cut through the other side. Interesting. So they want us to cut through. I think I'm okay with that for the most part. So I will Atari. Do we want to extend or just, I think just connect is probably the better shape here. Yep, then we get to Atari here or Hane. But I think I like the Atari because if they go here, we are very happy to capture. And Atari again. And now they do have a lot of awkward shape on the outside.
9, 8.
I think I want to try and fix my shape to some degree, so I'm going to Hane here. I'm Haneing to reduce the amount of liberties on their center stones, make it harder. I may as well capture the Ko again, because if I can capture this next stone, that would be really good for me. And I also kind of want to extend, but probably not a good idea. Maybe it's a good idea. Who knows? I might have to think about it for just a second longer.
1.
Yeah, I like the idea of trying to get some extra liberties on the outside here. Definitely going to fight a little bit. And then their group is not alive on the left side. So I want to save my stone here to threaten that group. Now I have to connect, of course. Feels like we could peep at their shape here if we really want to. But what I'm really aiming at is the group on the outside. So let's go after the outside now. We should be able to jump to keep them surrounded. So let's try that. We can go down, I'm pretty sure, but also up would feel good. I don't know which one's the proper shape. I think I'll go down, which is threatening to connect. Tarring in there, which is probably good for them to do. I think I just need the most amount of liberties possible.
9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4.
So I'm not sure which one's the best one, but I'm going to at least keep my stones connected. My group in the middle just needs more liberties than their group on the top side. Oh, attaching there. Kind of interesting. I'm just going to block the outside. We don't usually want to Hane on the inside unless you're capturing this stone on top and okay with them cutting through, which I'm not okay with. This should be fine. Right, and now they're going to cut through. Okay. So we will block. And I want to connect here. So Atariing down to connect would be good. We can also think about squeezing. So if we Atari down and push, they do this, and then we Atari again. But I think I just want to Atari down and connect. Always good to consider the squeeze whenever you can, though. Because I think he just doesn't have that many liberties on his two stones here. I can't double Hane, sadly. But we can probably do this move to gain some extra liberties and try to run out. This almost feels like a good move, but we can now Hane here to get rid of their liberties. So this Hane is really nice. Yep. Just connect. We don't want to let them cut through.
9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
I'm going to bump here because I think they do have some liberties on the outside they have to be careful of. It looks like I can push through potentially. So I do have some liberty problems if I cut here. So we can probably extend now, threatening to capture these stones. This game's getting a little bit too complicated, I gotta be honest, but can we just Atari this and throw in? Can we throw in first?
9, 8, 7.
No, not really, huh?
5, 4.
So
3.
let's cut the other 2 stones off. If we can capture those, we'll be happy. This also should let us push through this side, which is surrounding their group on the left side again. And if we get to capture this 1 stone again, we'd be pretty happy here. So we can be very, very simple and just directly Atari. I'm fine with that. I simplify as much as I can here, whenever possible. Can definitely push here, threatening to capture the 3 stones. I don't know do we want the Atari? I don't know, at the very least we can cut here to just capture, which is nice. Yep, just capture this. And we can connect because we're still threatening to cut off the group on the bottom left here. They're going to try to get rid of our eyes first, which makes sense. But again, the problem is we can cut them off first, I believe, with this clamp here. Maybe we can't? Looks like we can. Yep, so let's do this one. It's at least a co-threat.
9, 8, 7.
Should be able to just block here. We do have to be a little bit careful, but this should work. And you'll see why here in just a second, I believe. So here now we can do this Atari in the center to capture these 2 stones. Be very happy to capture these. They don't want us to do that, which means we can extend here now. And their group is cut off. It was kind of a fun game. I'm not sure the commentary was any good, but I started getting into it.
9, 8, 7, 6.
Yep. This is a nice Atari for us. Can even extend again if we really want to, but just capturing the 2 stones here will be good enough. This Hani doesn't do anything apart from getting rid of their liberties, so I'm happy with this. Get rid of the most amount of Aji by playing on the left side of it. Yep, just capture. And that doesn't do anything because we can throw in to capture the stones on either side. So let's just do this one. Usually this is a way to get an extra liberty, but it just is not in this particular case. Okay, they resign. That was kind of a fun game. Again, I don't know how I feel about how much I was able to concentrate on the commentary aspect, but let's actually take a look at this game for a little bit. Maybe I'll open it up and we can talk about the fight just a little bit more. The board looked a little bit off, but hopefully that looks fine now. This was a pretty complicated game. That's why I want to kind of break down this last part here, this fight in the center, and why I probably wasn't as worried as you might have been. I know that's something that people bring up to me quite often. It's like, I'll be in a situation and it looks like I'm pretty calm, but I am panicking. Don't worry about that. I am panicking. But I also know what options I have available to me. So for example, at this stage, when we're able to extend out here, I know that they need to fix the left side and they kind of need to fix this big group here in the center. Even if they do fix it, which they should just fix, then I'm able to continue to jump out towards the center and try to save my group. I started this fight because I knew that if I can make a living group in the center, they don't have a moyo. I think this is a really cool idea that if you're confident enough with your living, at least, it's a great way to reduce. But I would only ever do it if my opponent does have weakness. If I'm just jumping into the center just to live randomly, that's no good. I'm doing this because I have things I can aim at. That's the important part. So I wasn't too worried about that. So when they jump over here, I wanted to get just a little bit of extra strength. Threatening to push in here is always going to be fine for me. My corner is 100% alive, so I don't need to worry about any way that they're going to lean on that corner. And then diagonal, because I want to be a little bit more conservative for attacking this group, but I just want to sort of lean on it, right? And they did play properly for the most part. I think this was good. But after I push, they should just extend. Yes, it lets me get the next move. They could probably actually connect here. Then I can jump in the center here, and maybe it's too much for them to go directly to the corner, But at the very least, if they're able to make their group alive there, this shouldn't be that bad for black, but you can definitely tell that they're not going to have a moyo. But it started getting a little bit more complicated a little bit later on. From jumping here, I thought this was a cool jump. The idea is that if they do this one, we don't care about them capturing that stone, and we're just going to keep going out towards the center and making our group strong. So nice sacrifice here. They did not want to do that. They wanted to fight more, but I think this fight's going to be a little bit questionable because they're not alive on the left side and they're not alive on the bottom side. So my group should have enough liberties. Now, there's a possibility I did misread something and the AI will tell me that I was dead, but I can check that afterwards. Maybe I'll leave a comment if I was actually dead. But here, they have a hard time saving this stone and the other stone. So if they save the other stone first, we can just Atari this straight through. Because they can do this. I didn't mean to click there. My bad. They can do this, but they just don't have enough liberties to handle the situation. 3 liberties on the inside. No matter what they do to this stone, I'll always have more than 3 liberties. So they are just a dead group here, which is really nice for me. Which is why they tried to pressure me more in the actual game. So I'm Atariing through, because that's what I was threatening. And the reason why I don't push again, which could actually be the correct answer, by the way, because I'm just a little bit worried about this cut being a big deal. Because I do kind of want to fix in here, and then maybe this is almost captured, and them extending this way is hurting my shape a little bit. So I think it's more appropriate to connect and get this Atari in here like this. We have a lot more flexibility in how we can handle our shape now. And that's sort of why I did it. I wanted to keep my shape as strong as I could. With a ko, it's at least a little bit stronger. And then I do the hane here, the hane back, get to capture the ko back. Extend, threatening to capture the stones. This is all exactly according to plan, you could say. Like nothing was too off here. And there's just no way for them to save their stones, even if they do the push and cut, which they did end up doing a little bit later. If they do that first. One of the problems, of course, is I just have this Atari and connect. This Atari and connect's always a really good technique to gain you some extra liberties here, right? If they do cut, I mean, I can capture their stones, but the reason the Atari is there is that we can push through if we have to. In this case, of course, if they cut right now, we just capture them and we don't care. But that is sort of the idea. So you did get to see that in the game, which was cool. I think everything here was actually pretty straightforward. You can kind of see exactly everything I was looking at because they played into it. So probably no reason to talk about any of the other stuff here. Yeah, so this was actually a really good game. I know I'm not always interested in playing these more complicated games. Sometimes it's still kind of fun. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope you guys are having a great day. Have fun.